That's interesting. I pay attention to how people initially introduce themselves, um, depending on the context, And I admit, when I was active duty and in uniform, depending on the setting, in uniform and my on base or off, would vary how I would interact and how I would introduce myself. Uh, and it's a real thing that you tend not to gravitate to say some things when you're wearing the uniform and you're in that capacity. And then when you're retired, and then I can't speak for anybody else. You feel like a little bit more comfortable sharing some of my experiences that, frankly, I wasn't sure if we were ever going to be able to talk about. So I don't know if Bill or anybody else can comment on that, but I think that distinction in identity is important to bring up. That's why I keep kind of hitting that hammer, especially to the active duty side, because personally, it's something I did not know was that big of a factor until I got to the point where I am right now.
So, it's funny through this discussion of the different identities that you have and how you relate to yourself as a bomb tech. So, in my current position, I do response to energy emergencies for the Department of Energy. So it's absolutely nothing to do with bombs, any of that stuff. It's all about supporting FEMA when the power goes out, right? And sending. We actually have a uniform. We have a green shirt that we wear, so it's kind of interesting. But at my job at the Hammer Federal Training Center, I have 4 different signature blocks that I'll use because I have 4 different roles that I've identified for my current position. Only one of those do I have my association with EOD in that a signature block, because in addition to the energy response, we have a military program, and I'm the military program manager. So I figure, all right, I'll throw the EOD in on that one, because these civil support teams that come to Hammer, even the Fairchild EOD team is looking to come here. That kind of gives them my background in an instant, sort of, okay, I don't have to explain it. So it's on my signature block, and it says EOD, U.S. Air Force EOD, Senior Master Sergeant, retired, right? But for my other blocks, I just have my name. I think I also like to put the SMSGT RET, just because it's going to mess with the people that have PMP and MPA and all the different letters that people have put on their signature.
LMNOP.
Yeah, all that stuff. So I'm like, oh, okay, you want some letters? I got some letters. I'll put these letters here. And nobody ever says, hey, what does that mean? But like I said, I associate the EOD piece because that initially, especially with the civil support teams and all that stuff, they understand that okay, this guy understands, chem bio, he understands, all the other stuff. So it just simplifies communication. And there's often bomb techs on those different teams, so there's someone that you can get a rapport with right away. But yeah, so that's kind of how I'll use those. I have those different identities within my one identity, and talking about where we came from. So I will often say in conversation or during training or telling a story or whatever, I'll say, well, before I disarmed bombs for a living, I was a driving instructor, and guess which job was more frightening? And disarming bombs is a shit ton easier than teaching 15-and-a-half-year-old boys how to drive. And I was 18 at the time, and teaching 16-year-old girls how to drive was also very challenging. But that's a different story. The and I would also say, well, you know, before I was a bomb tech, I was in the Hollywood Stuntman's Association, or you know, some other thing. But it's always related. I seem to always connect it to my identity as a bomb tech, because that while I am the sum of all of my identities, you know, that piece, be it because it was for 24 years, or because it's such a deeply ingrained and emotional connection to the whole community, you know, that's just it's a huge part of what I do. And even when, you know, say they're doing the we're talking about our emergency management procedures at our office, and they talk about, you know, a suspect package or a bomb threat, they always say, well, we're going to call Bill. And I always say, well, I'm going to help evacuate people and tell you which way to run, because I don't have none of my stuff anymore.
Something's never changed. What? You can't just show up and magically make this disappear? What?
Hey, I can moderate neutrons still with the best of them.